the opportunities for collaborations between Indian Ocean countries to reduce the naval nuclear use, um, sadly, is not a positive one. I do not see, because as I mentioned previously, the reasons for going nuclear is very, very political, very domestic for each of these countries. And therefore, despite India-Pakistan dyad working out in terms of their nuclear exchanges, none of these countries are seeing reduction in their nuclear weapons, neither horizontally nor vertically. The technologies are developing in both the countries. Similarly, when we see the India-China dyad, the same thing is happening and the technologies are developing. Countries are seeing it as, self-help. The pursuance of self-help is very important within these countries. And it is not only about nuclear weapons, but we are also seeing countries developing, their defense manufacturing. Not only they are developing their own defense manufacturing, they are also selling, like countries like India is selling. So there is proliferation of conventional weapons under the nuclear overhang. And within this scenario, when the nuclear weapons are present and the countries are trying to, develop their own domestic defense capabilities in terms of developing their own conventional weapons, buying nuclear conventional weapons, training with each other. The signs of all these are not very positive, at least in the current environment. And therefore, the only way of going ahead of arms control and nuclear risk reduction is something that not new, what I'm going to say. And a lot of scholars before me have said that the only way of going about is to uh, have constant awareness about the dangers of having a nuclear war, generation after generation, so that the newer generations don't start taking nuclear weapons lightly, and the conversations about it lightly, and also keep promoting this idea of global no first use treaty when it comes to nuclear weapons. I think these are very pragmatic ideas which countries started, sadly not very popularized because of the real pragmatic reasons. But I think countries have to constantly work towards it, and the institutions and the organizations which are working towards nuclear non-proliferation and demilitarization have constantly keep building these debates. That even though the new technologies are coming, nuclear war still remains something that nobody expects and nobody wants, and this is something which should not be even aimed at. Um, Therefore, uh, despite all these activities, if you talk about any particular collaboration coming up, it seems very, at the regional level, at the bilateral level, seems very unlikely to happen. So there is no very positive answer regarding that. But having said that, I think the most of the countries, because they understand that Indian Ocean is now, and Indo-Pacific is now the center of global trade and geopolitics. So any kind of peace and destabilizing effect in the Indo-Pacific region is not only harmful for the region but for the global world globally. And therefore, there is certain idea to keep away from nuclear proliferation and accidental and deliberate escalation. And these ideas basically go back on very basics of how states operate with each other. First of all, maybe the idea of increasing trade and cultural interaction, which a lot of countries are now trying to achieve through FTAs and through other financial and economic mechanisms, so that countries they keep interacting each other with in terms of trade and culture. That can be one that continues to play a major role. The pursuance of confidence building measures that are in place and also which are being developed at the moment. They'll play a major role in how these accidental and deliberate escalations can be controlled in the times to come. Other way of doing is the strengthening of political and economic viability of systems and countries in a way that they're not swayed away with using, nuclear weapons as the ultimate weapon to persuade or as a matter of pride. So that kind of idea goes out of picture. And lastly, the exploration of naval capabilities amongst countries in terms of collaboration, naval cooperation, which gives a lot of know-how, interoperability between countries, like-minded countries, helps a lot in understanding and how other countries operate and things. And this kind of naval groupings, naval partnerships will actually strengthen regions' capabilities and capacities against those nuclear those countries who are trying to maybe use nuclear weapons in whichever format, whether it's from land or from seas. Uh, that kind of cooperation will be helpful.